the Shire. Turn your porch lights off because we're coming home with a trophy.
Hey there, welcome to SharkCast Pod, a podcast dedicated to the greatest sporting club in the history of the world, the mighty Cronulla Sharks. This show is brought to you by Dyson Logistics, the Royal Motor Yacht Club in Port Hacking, and Jason Hawes at Cripps & Cripps Real Estate. My name is Sam Shinazzi, an OG from 2015, and it is my pleasure to bring you another episode of this podcast, which we all, including us, like so much. Apologies, we've had a few less episodes in the past week than what we planned. No Kieran Fraser this week. That was a bummer. Maybe we'll catch up with him as soon as we can, though. But tonight we're back in business, we think. Fingers crossed. See how we go. And we are joined by a good friend of the show, regular co-host, good friend of mine, good friend of yours. He's a Sharks analyst. He is the person I want next to me on a deserted island when everything is going pear-shaped and all we got left is the Cronulla Sharks. And I'm obviously on medication, so don't judge me on that last comment. But Josh Bolling, what a great time to be podcasting. I wanted to say, actually, it's been such a bummer for me, like sitting miserably in a pit of bad health while the Sharks just go through the roof, you know, creating history and doing all this wonderful stuff. And I'm like, that was a great win against the Storm, man. Anyway, we're here now. Josh Bolling, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Flying high, top of the ladder, one loss all year, and very happy to be sitting with you and seeing you in better health.
What a win, man. Like, we couldn't have seen that one coming the way it did. Saturday afternoon, it all started going wrong. Nico Hines, rumours flying around. We couldn't get really too much confirmation until a couple hours before. Then all the things were happening, the maths, the subtractions, the adding, the multiplying, the dividing. Dykes is going to play. No, he's not. Jack Williams is playing halfback. Kind of didn't. I want to say straight up, a phenomenal coaching performance by all the staff to do what they did. Brayley named it hooker, playing hooker in attack, playing halfback in defence. McInnes, what was McInnes doing?
He was playing halfback.
Playing halfback. Dan Atkinson doing everything else. Just remarkable. The whole thing was remarkable. What were your thoughts?
Like you said, a clinical coaching performance and an outstanding game plan that we'd have to imagine they didn't have much time to put together if Nico was ruled out on captain's run the day before. To put something like that together and for it to be executed by the team as well as it was something kind of crazy to witness. Like, I don't know what your day was like that day, but I woke up so excited, ready for a massive game, and then I was deflated when the Nico news started coming through. I was like, no, it can't be true.
Yeah.
And then when it was confirmed, I just felt so defeated in a way because I was just like, I just felt like it wasn't going to be the contest we wanted it to be. Even with both of the Storm players being out, I thought it was still going to be a great game. And to have that news come in, I just didn't know how we were going to do it. And then in steps Fitzy.
I mean, I was with you initially. I was like, this is not good. And then there was a lot of negativity flying around on the socials, in our group chat, why bother, etc., etc. And I don't want to toot the old horn, toot, but I was the one on our group chat going, hang on.
You were?
Let's just calm the farm. Why can't we win? And that wasn't blind faith. It was more, I can see what they want to do, but they're going to have to stick to a plan. They did, like for 80 minutes. They didn't steer away from that. There was no real sweeping backline movements. It was all a power game. Everyone, forwards and everyone, played remarkably. Tries were mostly down the middle, and it worked. Aside from everything, it was a really good game of footy.
I think that's the best takeaway is that the Storm were really good as well. Yeah. If we had just pumped them and they were poor, awesome, that's fine. But the fact that the Melbourne were really good and Wishart decided to become Cooper Cronk on the night and just pull out one of the great halfback performances. It's very similar to Dan Atkinson. Two young kids steering a side around that they haven't really done before. And two 4-packs that went at it that I think we ended up winning fairly comprehensively in the middle. There's obviously a couple of shout-outs that I'm sure we'll get to, but I just thought, first of all, Dan Atkinson was unbelievable. Yeah. I just didn't think he had it in him, especially going off the preseason that he was not good in. I think it's fair to say. for him to come out, the last few weeks has been good. I think that we had him there in the system, and to pull out that, man, was just like otherworldly.
Yeah, because people have been referencing the preseason, but they're thinking of the one before. The man of the match stuff was the first preseason he had when he was here for like a week. This preseason was fine, but it wasn't earth-shatteringly brilliant. He ticked every box as far as skills go in that game on the weekend. Defense we spoke about in the last game. He was unbelievable. He kicked a goal from the sideline to... Was that to go 6 up?
That was to go 18-12.
Which is obviously very important. From the sideline. He steered them around. He didn't shirk any responsibilities. The field goal in itself, if you haven't studied that field goal, go back and watch it. As a club, we probably never constructed a better looking field goal. They go right, they go left, come back. Didn't wait to the 5th. And he got them exactly where he wanted. You know what I loved? Ball goes through. 0 yahooing from him and the team.
Yeah.
0. And then from there, Ronaldo changes it all, which is brilliant. So, but Dan Atkinson, I mean, we're going to talk about in the second segment, the big question, but remarkable game. And it wasn't a fluke. Like, I don't know if he can do that every week, but I also don't think, like, the downside is he'll give you a 2 out of 10 game. Like, he's obviously got this skill. Now, maybe he's more of a 6 or a 7, I don't know, but as in out of 10. But that was 10 out of 10, no doubt. Yeah. It was perfect.
Yeah. I guess I don't want to go too far ahead, but just 2 other guys, Blake Brayley and Cam McInnes.
Oh.
Like, stop it.
So I got pretty excited when I thought Blake was going to be playing more halfback. My brother and I have joked about this for years, like he'd be a really great halfback based on things we've seen in lower grades and that kind of thing. So I got pretty excited, but then he obviously didn't play that role really. But for him and McInnes to do what they did, McInnes was unbelievable. I messaged you guys in the group and I said he could be the 4th best Shark of all time. You got Gal, E.T., Holmes, and then maybe McInnes. So just remarkable. And there's letters about it we'll get to later on, but there wasn't not even close to a bad player. They all did a job. Like, they all did a job. We can go through it. Every single player was probably an 8.
And they needed to be.
Yeah.
They had to be to win that game. Because Melbourne was similar. I don't think they had it. They might have had some guys not as good, like your Grant Andersons and what have you, but they were to a man almost perfect as well. And we'll get to some of the controversies in the game as well.
There's so much to talk about. So what I was going to say was a lot of people pre-game had given up on the club to win the game, the team to win the game. And it's just a reminder that, like, it's a different year we're in. You don't really know what's going on. They're a pretty stubborn bunch. I know they've got a bit of a nice guy rep, and they're all nice guys. Coach is a nice guy. But they're not mucking around. They don't like being called flat track bullies. And they showed such a backbone, man. And we're all talking about like how proud we were of them. But
was there a moment in the game where you felt like it was on? Do you remember a specific moment or a time where you're like, we're in this?
Yeah, probably. I'm going to estimate 20 in. I can't remember when the first try was scored, but it was 0-0. And I thought, well, hang on. They should be lapping us by now. And we were going with them toe-to-toe. We were probably the better team. So at that point, I thought, yeah, at least it'll be close. I didn't see them going away and winning 36-0 like last year's debacle. Relatively early on, I thought, nah, they've turned up here. The whole 1/2 thing and the makeshift team, I didn't know if that would work for 80 minutes. And I don't know if that can work again for 80 minutes, but it worked in this game, a game we'll remember for a long time. What about you? When did you realise?
I think when we scored the second try. Now, I was feeling good after about 15 minutes. There was just an energy about us that I was like, okay, this is going to be at least good for half a game here, 50 minutes. And then when we scored the second try, I was like, no, like this is a real shot here. And I think it was just the attitude that they were showing after that second try, that there was something about them. I can't really quantify it, but there was just something in their demeanor. And like you said, like these are a bunch of really nice, good guys, but they got some dog in them. Yeah. And I think they're sick of, being, like you said, being told that they can't do it in the big games. And
I don't know if they had dog in them in the past 2 years. If they did, it was a dog growing. I think now the dog is grown.
It's a Rottweiler
The
now.
dog is at like, I don't know what dog life is like, but it's like a year and a half, 2 years, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
They're not puppies anymore. And one of the better performances that I can remember, and just this feeling of pride, like that's our team.
Yeah.
And you've documented it about it when Talakai scored the try, and we were all doing the same thing. Like,
I haven't gone off like that in years.
yeah, I got that message from so many people, man.
Yeah, and I was reading some, like, I tweeted about it and got a lot of great responses from even non-Sharks fans. People were saying, like, I don't even like the Sharks, and I was riding him home. Like, it was just, like, my brother texted me, he hates Ronaldo. He respects him, but he can't stand him. And he was like, man, that was special.
The front on replay.
That step.
The step. Like, that is, as you said before, otherworldly. That is not just a kick return. He's got the ball, he's beaten two guys, and he gets to the fullback. Right, left, right, whatever it was.
The flick part, the little pass.
The
around
cut
the corner.
around pass, yeah.
And how about the Danganang goodbye?
I think we were going to win from there. I thought at one point was enough, but it's Melbourne. You never know.
Yeah.
They have won games recently, obviously against us, but recently as well in the NRL in the last few minutes.
Yeah.
So you're never safe. So it was beautiful. I think it was a deserved response. Like, we were, I think, more than a 1 point better team than them.
Yes, I think that's very reflective, that scoreline.
Some of these stats are not great, right? I got Will Kennedy for 45 run meters. I've got Hazelton with 75. It doesn't matter. It was what each of them did, what Hazelton did, what Kennedy. Kennedy was awesome. He set up the try for Ramian.
Safest houses under the high ball again.
He is. He really is. I mean, Royce Hunt came back.
He was good.
Short stint. Stats aren't great. He was tough. Did nothing wrong. There were no silly, untimely offloads.
He was impactful.
Tukuhai Tupua, we got 12 minutes out of him. We got 33 meters. We got his first try.
How good was that?
I love what our forwards are doing. Oregon Kafusi, another try scorer, ran for over 100 meters. You know who stuck out for me, and I don't know why, because his stats are not great either. Oh, well, actually, I shouldn't say that. 42 tackles, none missed. But Jack Williams, just watching him, naked eye watching him, he was just everywhere for 60 minutes. He was covering everything. I wouldn't even say necessarily he's in our top three best that game, but for me, it stood out. That's the lengths they're going to win this game. Luckily, they've got a week apart to play the Roosters, because that's a whole different kettle of fish, which we'll get to, hopefully. But the response from the fans has been awesome. Yeah, it just feels like we're in a different year this year.
Completely agree. There's just a vibe. And I think we said this during the preseason or very early on in the year. It feels different this year. Now, look, it could still all go tits up. Sure. But I just don't think so. There's something about them this year that is really satisfying as a fan. Even when we've only lost once and it was poor, but I think even with losses, I don't think they're going to hurt as bad, because you know that they'll turn it around or they'll figure it out. Whereas sometimes last year I was like, man, where are we going from here?
Yes, that Tigers loss, I know it hurt a lot of people. Like, in hindsight, and what I remember about that result and how I felt, like, I felt annoyed, I was confused, but, like, it didn't sting me. And I wasn't, like, in the fetal position going, well, what the hell are we going to do? And I've been there plenty of times. But maybe that's what you're talking about. It's a bit different. I can tell you now, I think there's one team in the last however many years, like 30 years, that have missed the finals from this spot. So we're pretty much guaranteed finals. Now, that could be 7th or 8th. We're hoping it's 1st or 2nd. What they have the chance now is to really focus on ways to improve, get better. We're on a run. Haven't been on this sort of run since 2016. You want to keep winning. And I think it's week by week, man, and just got to stay healthy. As healthy as you can. That's what it's going to come down to.
Well, last year, 38 points got you top 4. We're on 18 now.
Yeah. We've had, one bye?
Yep.
2 more to come.
So maybe 10 more wins. I think if my maths is right, 10 more wins gets you top 4. We're in round 9 or round 10 now. So it's in our hands completely now.
And I'm led to believe, I know people don't like me talking about the draw, but I'm led to believe after this month, we don't play anyone like that ever again.
I can do a quick search for you now. So we go Roosters, Panthers, Eels, Broncos, Dolphins. That's a tough run, right? Sure. And then I'll read it out. It's Bulldogs, Titans, Tigers, bye, Cowboys, Souths, Titans, Knights, Dragons, Warriors, Manly.
So this is the tough spot.
This is it. Get through this. Obviously anything can happen, but
one loss. Like, we wouldn't have had this in our wildest dreams.
No, not a chance. I say that, as someone who was very confident about this year.
For sure. I thought top 4 is where we're aiming. Maybe creep into the top 4. At the moment, they can do whatever they want. Like, it's the ball's in their court. Anyone else stick out for you? I know we don't want to, like... We're saying it's a team effort, which it was, but anyone else kind of...
I mean, I know we just touched on him there, but Oregon Kafusi, the turnaround on this guy is something that I still don't think is getting enough credit in the general NRL space, but very much so in the Sharks space. He played like 60 minutes. Well, 61 minutes by your stats. That is insane. Was super impactful. His runs, man, like 112 meters from him. Like, we don't really get, they usually get like a 70 from him at best, and 19 tackles. I feel like he was, and this may have been a coaching decision, he was out there for a long time, but he wasn't involved as everything. He was just there. I don't, that might sound rude, but he was just there to occupy that space and don't get in every tackle because we're going to need you to play big minutes. So just be there. Tackle when you need to, but if you can avoid it, stay out of it. Don't take a hit up every set. I just thought a really mature performance from him, maybe a coming-of-age type of game.
Well, I mean, we've got Rudolph out for a month. Hamlin Willie's not named for this week. Hopefully it's 1 week only. So we're down on forwards anyway. And guys like him need to step up. Him and Tall Tom have been unbelievable. All the forwards have. Jack's been unbelievable. Big Tooks has been fantastic when he's been there for the short stints. The edge back rowers have been great. Obviously, they always are. Royce has had a nice return. I mean, yeah, next year it's going to be pick your best. And maybe that's why. Maybe they...
You'd have to assume so.
Maybe they've been reminded that this fella's coming in. He's going to be hungry. Like, their season's not going very well.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe it's not related. I don't know. One of my best friends is a Para fan. He texted me and he said, I didn't recognize him.
Really?
He looks bigger, sharper, and just more obviously active.
But even from last year.
I said that. I said, look, last year he was okay. At times, not okay.
He got dropped, didn't he, eventually?
He had a rest, yeah. There was one game where he had like 12 metres, That's not okay. But this year from the trials, we said it from the trials, he's been killer. Him and Tall Tom just really getting the job done. The bench comes on. They keep going with it. There's literally not a negative from the weekend.
I mean, Tom's playing to a point where people are even saying, like, could he be a smoky for an Origin bench? Like, that's how good. And people are saying it legitimately. Like, I know he
wouldn't let you down.
He wouldn't. No, but like the fact that even people are saying that now, like, he's got a cult hero status, obviously amongst Sharks fans, but the general NRL public are warming to him so much, and he's getting spoken about in other circles.
He might get there, yeah. Not this year, but...
Yeah, he won't play this year, but I mean, like, the fact that people are even saying, hey, you put him on and play him 20 minutes, he'd do a job.
Well, I think they're already talking to him about contracts, and he's already said he doesn't want to go anywhere, so... Yeah.
Is there a saving Cam McInnes for later, or should we do him now? We haven't really...
You can talk about Cam McInnes.
This guy might be my favourite Shark ever by the time he retires. He could take over Luke Lewis for me. And, like, that captain's knock that he pulled out, we're used to it. We know how good he is. But even then, I'm still like, I was in awe of what he did.
Have you, you watch his press conferences? Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Anything he does, I'm there.
Have you watched him and during the press conference?
The way he nods when coach
speaks. He nods like he's in agreement.
Yeah.
And then he kind of gets really annoyed when they talk about Origin. If you haven't watched him during the press conference, just watch him while it's happening. He's hilarious.
He's a different cat, hey. Like, he's like
he's
Dale.
A smart guy.
He's a very smart guy, but he's wired differently to other people. Yeah. And I say that in a positive, that he's that kind of dedication and focus isn't...
Can you imagine Shane Flanagan now just sitting around going, I'm rebuilding this team and there's some positives. We won as many games as we did last year. So, yeah, they're on the up, no doubt. And he's probably just looking at, squad from the last few years. Oh, I could have had Cam McInnes. What was he asking for? Not that much.
He didn't want to go.
That is one of the top 5 blunders in the history of the NRL recruitment.
To let that guy go.
Oh, he's got a ACL. Yeah, well, they get better.
Yeah.
Be patient.
He's 20. He was 27, I think, when he did it.
They let him come to our club and train on contract while he was still with the Dragons. They're like, yeah, you can't do anything for us.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Cool.
And now this guy is literally bleeding and punishing himself physically for our club. Like, these are just the guys, you just don't get these type of guys many times in your life.
He's a proper Shark. Like, you hear him talk, it's like he was here for 10 years.
He did an interview when he was first coming over, and I've never forgotten it, the way he spoke, and I was like, wow, like this is the real deal. When he was like, wherever I am, they have my heart. He's like, when I was at South, he's like, I was South through and through, nothing. And Dragons, now I'm a Shark, and I was like, until I'm retired or until I'm gone, I'll die for this club. And it's like, man, like there's not enough of that anymore. Like there's a dying breed of those kind of guys.
I think I've interviewed him 3 times at least, and every time it's like, I think I say to him, I'm like, man, I would love to play for you.
I would run through a wall
like,
for you.
You don't want to like equate it to war or whatever because that's ridiculous, but he's like that guy.
And do you think is there anything to it that the fact that he's captain this year, there's been a change in?
Nah, because we saw the improvement in his style of play the more minutes he got. Because remember they eased him back.
Yeah.
But the more minutes he got, the better he got at lock. And I feel like he'd be doing this now whether he had the C or not. I think it helps. Sorry.
I mean, as in the way the dynamic is shifted in the performance of the club in general, and the way the
tough one. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I wouldn't say no. I don't know if that's the reason, but I really am a believer that the 2 finals series has knocked them around so much in a good way that it's like the reason why. Yeah, I really do. I think fair. Something clicked. I got a feeling the coach absolutely has not let him forget about it. And I feel like they're chomping and waiting for week 1. And when we get to week 1, we're all going to be nervous. I don't think they're going to be nervous.
No,
I mean, want it. They're going to kill whoever it is. It doesn't matter where or when. Hopefully it's one of our home grounds, whatever that means. That debate's for another time. And whoever we play, like, look out. Oh, yeah. I think it'll have like that kind of 2016 Cowboys vibe.
That assault type feel, yeah.
Like they're annoyed. They're annoyed at themselves, no one else. And I really believe a large part of what we're seeing now is because of that. I'm sure there's other reasons. They look fit. They look unbelievably fit. I don't know the dynamics there. I don't know what's changed, but
I think if we had to cop those 2 final series in a row to get where we are now, I'll take it. If it took them bottling that first year and then whimpering out that second year to get to where we want to be,
you've probably not beaten Penrith the first year.
No.
Last year, I mean Brisbane went close, but
yeah,
you're better off saving it. It's the positive way to look at it.
Pull the trigger at the right time.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't feel that way, but
no,
as a fan, I loved when they realised they'd won. And all the coaches shook each other's hands. It's so polite.
Professional.
Hey, well done. Very cute. All right, Joshy, let's wrap it for now. I'm sure we'll have lots more to talk about the Storm game throughout the episode. SharkCast Pod back after this break. Thank you for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. Dyson Logistics have been on board with SharkCast since day 1. And because of that and their excellent service, we are proud to be associated with them. Dyson Logistics provides tailored logistical solutions to meet your individual client needs and is set apart by its personalized service. Dyson is a strong worldwide agent network, enabling highly competitive rates, and I should also point out their head honcho is a lifelong season ticket holder of the mighty Cronulla Sharks. Find them online, www.dysonlogistics.com, or call them on 02 8339 1844. Dyson Logistics, service delivered.
Plenty of time for the Melbourne Storm, but they dearly love to get it off this kick, which doesn't have much trajectory on it, and it's a terrific catch by Mulatalo, and he got away. He burned Welsh, then he got through. Now the pass to Talakai! Goodbye! Sniffer Talakai thunders his way to the line, and the Sharks are surely going to claim a massive scalp and take the Melbourne Storm out in Melbourne here at Amy Park. Oh, this is some night for the Cronulla Sharks.
Welcome back to SharkCast Pod. This is going to be a news section. Now, Josh, you reminded me that we didn't talk about the refereeing controversies for both teams. We do know now tonight that Harry Grant's been forgiven for his tap and excused. I thought the sin bin was way too far. Penalty was fine. Everyone knew it at the time. Harry Grant knew it. One of the edge back rowers was looking at him. Like people, maybe Munster had a look. Everyone knew you can't do it. So whether you like it or not, I'm cool with the penalty. To be honest, I'm not cool with the sin bin. I know we scored from it, but
No, it's completely incorrect call. The ruling itself is correct on taking the legs out, but when it's so inconsequential, I mean, like, this is a game of, battering people for 80 minutes. Like, these little knocks and that, they're going to happen. I think the NRL go too far sometimes with, protection of players is important, absolutely.
there was no malice. He was fine.
I think Harry knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
But he knew he wasn't going to collect him. He was just, you have to have kick pressure in this game. Otherwise, you're going to let your Nathan Clearys and your Adam Reynolds just kick you to death if you can't put pressure on them.
Sharks fans, well, I shouldn't speak for Sharks fans, but a lot of them just kind of went, sucked in, whatever. It was the wrong punishment at the time. We scored from there. We'll take it. There were a few funny ones against us later on. There was the Kale Iro not playing at the ball.
That was absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that, so we had Harry Grant go for 10 and we score off it. Sure, you get luck. The people forgetting that their first try came directly from that Kale Iro call. So it came off Kale's back, goes out. They say he was in the vicinity of the ball. So he was, I can't remember his exact
they
words.
sort of said that he was...
Because he was there, he was playing at it.
Which is ridiculous.
Stupid. Okay, they score off that. So now I'm saying we're even already because they shouldn't have had the ball. Then we have another one of our great disruptor calls that I swear to God we seem to be the only team that cops it.
So remind me what happened. Was that him again?
So that was when it was Grant Anderson, I think, or one of the wingers, and then Britton Nakora goes through, and they say that no, despite the fact they acknowledge that his eyes were on the ball, he's jumped too early and he's disrupted the play. Now, I think, first of all, I think it's absolutely insane that you're not allowed to disrupt a ball catcher. That if it's not an illegal play, you should be able to do whatever you want. If you want to wave your hands in the air, if you want to spook him, yell at him, you can't. According to the rule.
No. They've called it a disruptor, but the action is him going up, going doink. It's not yelling in the face.
Well, yes, but that's...
I know what you're saying, but I think that... Because you see it. I saw it in that game. It might have been with the Harry Grant incident. And he comes literally screaming at Atkinson, who he knows personally. Mm. And I thought it was kind of funny because I'm watching it in slow-mo for work. And he comes out and going, which is sort of different to what you're talking about. But anyway, go on.
No, I know what you mean. But the fact that they said because he jumped too early, he's disrupting the play.
Yeah, they're getting into the psychology of the human psyche.
And I hate that the video ref is saying, like, in our opinion, he was attempting to strip the ball. Well, how do you know he was trying to strip the ball? How do you know and someone was saying it, I think it was on Bloke in a Bar podcast, and they were saying, like, do you know how hard it is to run as fast as you can and time your jump to perfection that you're not disrupting the play? Yeah. It's like, he should be able to jump up there, and he didn't make contact with him. He tried to tap it back. He missed. The guy dropped the ball. Play on. And then after that penalty, they go up, and then that was when they got their second win in the second half, and we didn't get the ball again. Yeah. So, like, we were completely on top. We should have had the ball there attacking their line. The Kale Iro one, the penalty count was like 8-4 their way. So I find it very ironic and rich that the Storm fans are calling it, this dudded them, when if they really look at the whole game as a full picture, they had a lot of things go their way. And that's my rant about the refs.
Okay, so Braydon Trindall's been named in the squad to play this week. Now, this came as a bit of a shock, but it's all based around the fact that his court case is going to be probably delayed based on a delay in evidence. Therefore, the NRL is not going to stand in the way of him playing until something happens in the court. Now, they're not sure when that's going to happen, so I think they've allowed him to be named. Whether he plays or not, we're not sure. It's dependent on Nicho Hynes being fit. So that's that. People have a million different opinions on that. You and I have spoken about that. You and I feel like he deserves a second chance, which he's obviously going to get. We would like him to learn some serious lessons. We do not condone criminal behaviour, but we do feel like, and stop me if I'm wrong, we both feel like he deserves another chance, which is good for him. Don't muck up. Different question, and we've had a lot of mail about it. When Nicho is fit to play, and Trindall is mentally stable and fit to play, which looks like he is, and Dan Atkins ready to go, are we seeing a change here after a couple of games? Because it's a fair question. Usually I kind of hose these ones down, but this one's pretty fair.
Well,
This one's open for debate.
I want to hear what you think first.
Ah, do you?
Yeah.
You go first. You go first. I don't know. Like, it's a tough one, dude. Like, if I'm going to base it off what I've seen, he's hard to replace. Trindall was going really good. They're different players. They're completely different players. That's why I'm not sure what's best for us. But if he can play like that, he wins.
Yeah.
Sorry. I like Trindall. He's impressed me with everything except for the off-field stuff. I thought he's going to be our guy. It's up to him to sort of come back and show us he's the guy still. Maybe one game we go, no, he's the guy. I feel like potentially he's more stable on the field. I think Atkinson's game could be a bit up and down given his style. But he literally was a 10. I don't know if we've seen Trindall be a 10. I don't know if we've seen many players be a 10. He was a 10.
Yeah.
How do you not play a 10? It's one game. What's he had? 3 or 4
Full
starts.
games. Yeah.
That's tough. Because Trindall's what, at 50 now?
Yeah, just over. But he's probably the same. He's probably only started about 30.
It's tough. And if you base it on most recent games, Trindall's last game against Canberra,
He was fantastic.
terrific. Wasn't a 10, but terrific. Good problem to have. And then there's Atkinson. Can't really mess with that bench, so
No.
I don't think they go to the bench.
I think it just depends on how you want to play. Because like you said, they're very different players. I think defensively they're about the same. They're both pretty good defenders. Maybe even better than most halves in the comp. Trindall's definitely a more natural half. Yeah. He's got a better kicking game. He's probably got the best kicking game at the club, to be fair. He's not as fast as Atkinson, but he's a better ball player. Atkinson's probably more dynamic with ball in hand, but I do think that his edge has waned a little bit in terms of service and crispness, if I could use that word. Trindall works better with his outside backs because he's got the ball playing. Atkinson, at least from what we've seen, he doesn't have that yet, and I think we get a little stifle when we've done our backline movements. It's looked a bit clunky. It wasn't perfect with Trindall anyway, but it looks when they get it right with Trindall, it looks really good. And I would have said that Trindall had the goal kicking, but we've seen on the weekend now that Atkinson can goal kick too. So I don't really know what to do, and it's more about what have you done for me lately?
The thing that impressed me most, Josh, was the clutchness.
Yeah.
I'm putting Trindall in that position on the weekend and imagining for whatever reason Atkinson isn't playing. So Trindall's the half.
Do you think we win?
I can't say we don't, but I can't say we do.
It's
Maybe we do. It's unfair for me to say we don't.
of course
But the ease in which he did it, like he looked
calm.
and collected. Even his general kicking, which we're not talking about, was fine. The general kicking wasn't 10 out of 10, but it was really good.
It was serviceable.
I think it was more than serviceable. Like, I thought it was really good. I just don't want to forget about Trindall because he's worked hard to get where he is. Major malfunction in the brain, and we know about that. But now he's been training, he's been at rehab, like he's back. So all he really probably needs to do is have a couple of really cool games. And the debate might go away, then Atkinson's just ready to go when needed. I mean, Nico's going to play Origin.
Yeah.
They'll both get time together. Maybe together they'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Because one's the stable one and one's the running guy. We didn't talk about it, but I love the fact that he roomed with Nico and Nico was like his coach. The whole story is feel good.
The story he shared on Instagram from the NRL, the Boom Rookies, about that was awesome.
Remind me of that. Oh, yes. Tell everyone about that.
So that was when Atkinson was on a trainer trial last year.
Last year's trial in Gosford, maybe.
Yeah, and there was a couple of reporters there just speaking to Fitz. And then Dan just kind of came up to him while they were speaking to him and just said, "Coach, I just want to thank you for what you've done for me and giving me a chance. Like, I really appreciate it. I've loved being here. I know you might not want to keep me, but I just want to thank you regardless."
Yeah, so he hadn't signed the deal yet.
Yeah.
We spoke to him the other week. He's a really nice young bloke.
That was his interview on Fox afterwards. Just like,
Yeah.
super casual,
Everything's
like
very
larrikin sort of.
Yeah. That's what I like about him. He's very at ease. Like, I wouldn't have thought he was so young.
How old is he?
I feel like he's 23. He's played in the World Cup. Played well in a World Cup. And he's got a bit of the Nico story where he, moved interstate to play, to keep a dream alive. Did other jobs.
Was going to give it up.
Training trials, yeah, the whole thing.
Mm.
And we saw from day one, like he had some skill. Like we saw him.
He can play, yeah.
And I think the running game's still untapped. So
Strong
there's a
through
lot
the
of
hips.
upside. Yeah.
Really strong to the hips. And I think it was very interesting. Ronaldo in the post-game said it's his jersey to lose. So I wonder if, and this is me completely speculating, do the players, the widest team, think that Trindall's let them down and now it's Dan's spot?
I don't know. I think you'd have to ask that question. And if you ask them that question, they wouldn't answer it.
No.
And nor I don't think they should. But I really think that's a 50-50. It's a flip of the coin. Did he let you down? They might just, I feel like half of them would just go, he let himself down.
Yeah.
The other ones might go, well, we could be worse off here because of him. We all thought we'd be worse off.
I did.
Yeah, it's a weird year, man. But it's a valid question, which a lot of people are asking. I just don't think it's a quick yes or no. I really don't.
I still don't know. Like
No.
I said in the group chat after the game, and I was probably still buzzing a little bit, I said, when you make mistakes and you give someone else a chance in your jersey, you're running the risk that you might not get it back. Now, obviously, that doesn't go for everyone, but in positions like that, when you're still kind of getting your hands on the jersey.
Yeah, so as much as I'm for a second chance, and with him a second chance, I'm not rolling out the red carpet either.
Nope.
So, and the club hasn't, to be fair. You're 100% right. So if he does lose it, he's got no one else to blame. He does have things to offer the club. Like I just don't want to throw a blanket over it and go, see you later, we've got this guy.
But
Because this guy's had one game.
But you don't want to go the other way too and just say it's just Dan's now, or you're straight back in. Like
Yeah, no, I think thankfully we've got a coach who will think long and hard about it. He knows the answer.
It could end up similar like the Iro situation where it's, hey, like until it goes wrong or if there's an injury, like he's got it now, man. Like
Yeah,
it could be like that, or we could say no, all right, like you're the guy. We've spent all preseason with you. You're back, but you've got to show us why you're back.
I don't think the players would have I know they wouldn't have the final say, but the coach might consult the players or the leadership guys. And it's fascinating. It's a fascinating year. Kind of thought it would be, but not for these reasons. So the amazing thing is we keep hitting these roadblocks and we keep driving straight through them.
Which we wouldn't have done.
Injuries, suspensions, the whole thing. Retirements.
Mid-season retirements. Well, I think last
Not
year...
even mid.
No. I think last year we lose that game like 30-16 or something.
Well, that's the other thing. The pressure was then on them to win because they had Pappenhausen and Hughes out.
And Xavier Coates.
And Coates, 3 fantastic players. So it was like, well, you better win. And then it was flipped last minute because, like, well, Nico's out.
Toby's out.
Trindall's out. So it was a good way to win. Like, it put a lot of respect back for the club. So that's important, you know. Josh E., let me tell you about Newtown Shark Jets. Speaking of 5/8s in the waiting. Cade Dykes with a hat-trick. Comeback victory, back on the top 5. Playing the Knights on Sunday. Now, he played really well. I've watched the whole game. The hat-trick was, a couple of tries where he was backing up or whatever. But he had a great game. No disputing he had a great game. That was the other big thing. Like, why didn't Dykes play? Well, I talked about it on the post-game show, but there's a feeling he's not ready for first grade yet after his injury. So that might be a wait and see. But it's a good hit out for him. And he was in Melbourne, flew home, along with Billy Burns, possibly someone else.
So he wasn't there come game time?
He was.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
So
like...
he could have played?
He could have played.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was eligible to play. And in the sheds afterwards, Dykes and Burns are there for sure.
Okay.
Flew home, played, so yeah, it's great to see. Thursday night, State of Origin, women's, or next Thursday?
Yes, it is. 8:30, I think,
This
Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
This Thursday, State of Origin, women's game. Can't wait. We have Emma Tonegado, Tiana Penatani, and Ellie Johnston playing, which is going to be awesome. That's from Suncorp, May 16th. We can tell you that Jada Taylor has extended her contract till at least 2026. Man, she's only 20 years old.
Wow.
What a future.
I didn't know she was that young.
We have signed Philomena Hanesi. She is a 23-year-old who has played with a number of clubs, but she's signing on for the Sharks 1 year, which is awesome. And they've also signed Georgia Hanaway, who is most known for being a former Australian rugby sevens player. So it should be nice and quick. All right, and we want to say a big shout out to our friend Dylan Wright. He played his first show post-Idol, Josh. So the man has played a million shows. I've seen him play before with Sons of Atticus. But his first show, which is always special, post-stardom success, it was a big deal at the Sutherland, I think it's Performing Arts Centre. It used to be the Entertainment Centre. Sold out show. I had to let go of my tickets, unfortunately, but I heard it was unbelievable. And we know he's listening. We want to say shout out to you, our brother. We want to say to a different brother from a different mother, original gangster Brendan Cowell, the actor. So his show Plum, which has a rugby league storyline, that'll be coming out on the ABC TV in the coming months. They've rushed that forward. So filmed around the Shire, based on a book, great cast, and it's going to be wonderful. We're going to try and have him on the show. Depends on his availability, but friend of the show, no doubt. And yeah, just want to give him a shout out because it's going to be a wonderful show. Josh, I think that's all the news, my man. You got any other news? What's going on with you?
Looking forward to Magic Round this week.
Yeah, we haven't had much success there. I think last week we hinted that we hadn't won there, but we beat the Gold Coast.
We beat the Titans in the first year, I think.
Yeah. So hopefully Magic Round against the Roosters. We'll get to that.
We've got to go one year.
Do we though?
I think so.
Do we got to go?
Yeah, if we get us a Saturday night, we've got to go.
Okay, I could go. Are we doing the whole weekend though?
I will. You don't have to, but just for the Sharks game.
It's a lot of rugby league fans.
It is.
In one place.
Imagine how much we could plug it up there.
Imagine how much we could talk about the galley at the RMYC, Josh. Incredible food. Member discounts are still available. And please go check them out. It's a new restaurant type eatery for our friends down at the RMYC. And you can book online at the rmycph.com.au or via membership apps, or you can call them old school 9523 9300. We do need to tell you, though, there's no more garlic bread, in case you've forgotten that little reminder. No more garlic bread unless you see Josh or I there, and then it's our obligation to buy you some garlic bread. Back after this short break with some mail. Don't go anywhere.
We're in possession. We're told we've got a good audience tonight at the Port Hacking Yacht Club. Cronulla fans down there in the presence of the great John Docking, the former Sharks fullback. So a shout out to you. If the publican would like to say drinks are on the house for the next 5 minutes.
Welcome back to SharkCast Pod, brought to you by Dyson Logistics, the Royal Motor Yacht Club in Port Hacking, and Jason Hawes at Cripps and Cripps Real Estate. Sam Shinazzi OG with Josh Bolling, and we are going to get through your mail, some of which we couldn't get through last week. So if you're on that list, we apologise for the delay. Evan says, I've been reading about how Hines isn't an organising halfback, more like into a 5'8". I think he's more of a hybrid 7 and 6, and we're going to see more of that in the future. What are your thoughts? Thanks for keeping my drives to work interesting. Thank you for listening on your drives to work, Evan. Josh, what do you think about that? The hybrid halves.
Well, I think he's a hybrid 7 and 1.
Ooh.
I think he plays like a 1 in the attacking 20 a lot. I think he's still definitely like his organising and stuff, but there's times where he just literally goes into fullback mode down there. And I think he's getting better at like the organising aspect, as we obviously know that he's pulling the strings more with his kicking game and stuff. But there's still like that. He's still got that fullback tendency in him, which I love, because no one's like that. No, there's no 7s in the game like him. Like a lot of them, you can go, okay, like, you know, Reynolds is a lot like Cleary, and like Ilias is like a reserve grader. Just want to get free hit on Ilias there. But there's no one like Nico.
The positive for me, as far as hybrid and what you're saying, throw in Atkinson, for example. So say they're named to play this week, right? So they play. You don't really know what they're going to do. They're both running, halves. They're adventurous. Trindall is more your stock standard. They all like to kick. I get the feeling that, we've seen it before in the trial, I think, that Atkinson's a bit kick-happy as well. So I think it's a positive. There's nothing more boring than seeing guys do the block plays.
Yeah.
That's what I love about us this year. It's like, even the sweep play thing, we're not doing as much. I think that's a large part of our success, is that people can't really, if they can read what we're doing, they can't stop it at the moment. So
like the Jesse Ramian try.
Yeah.
That was a sweep play, but then we it was a
then he
change
kind
up.
of-
Yeah,
yeah.
he balked him
Yeah.
and then got to put the pass around him.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's all positives. Thanks for being in touch, Evan. Paul says, thanks for the pod. Been listening from the beginning. Have you heard the song Tessie by the Dropkick Murphys? It's played after every game for the Red Sox. And he had an idea that could be covered and changed more to a 2016 vibe. And he mentions that it's at the end of closing credits for Fever Pitch, also known as The Perfect Catch. And I know that song, Paul, because The Perfect Catch, the American version of Fever Pitch, is one of my favourite films of all time. I think we've talked about that on the show before. But the great Jimmy Fallon, who I love, Drew Barrymore. You know the story, right?
I don't.
Do you know the Fever Pitch story?
Never heard of this, what you're saying.
What? Mind blown. Fever Pitch was written by, everyone's yelling at us who it is, that author, amazing author from England. And I believe it was about his love for Arsenal and a relationship he was in. It's right up your alley.
Right.
They Americanized it and they made it about the Boston Red Sox. It just happened to be the year that they broke the curse of winning, I think, for the first time in 100 years. And it's a great movie. It's a rom-com, but it's about his favorite team, and it's like based on every one of our listeners, these obsessed fans. And Drew Barrymore is, I don't know, in advertising or something, and she's just an American girl going about her life, but she loves Jimmy Fallon, and he loves the Red Sox. You should watch it.
Okay.
Thank you, Paul, for being in touch. He said it'd be great to hear one of your songs at halftime. That would be great. We'll have to ask Jess Chitch about that. I can tell you that in England, in one of the lower grade football teams that our friend Damien Irvine looks after, they do play one of my songs. He's got a playlist. And so there's like 5,000 English people singing along, I think, to my song Good Things. So
How cool is that?
It's very cool. And shout out to the former chairman. He was at the game against the Dargans, and we caught up. It was great to see him in the upper ET. Neil says, I have to give credit to Coach Fitzgibbon. He has us playing like a well-oiled machine. Cam McInnes was phenomenal. Atkinson had the game of his life. I believe he's nailed down the 5/8 spot. Long way to go. Can we repeat 2016?
Oh, of course we can.
I mean, that sentence sums it up. Long way to go. Can we?
I got like little goosebumps there saying that. Of course we can. Why not? We've spoken about it before. Like, the comp is there for the taking if we want it.
Well, they can be top 4 if they want to be, right?
100%.
I believe they can be top 2. They could probably be minor premiers if they want it, if everything falls into place. I'm sure they want it. That's a ridiculous statement. I get what Neil's saying. We're 10 weeks in. For 5 weeks, we've been top of the table. And, you know, you start to think about these things.
It's hard not to.
Unfortunately, there's an Origin series coming up, and we're going to have a few guys in there. So that can always mess things up. I'm with you. I think we can.
Yeah. When you're a good side and you don't think you can win the comp, like, what's the point? I know people get like antsy about curses or putting the mock on, but I'm like, it's not every year that you're in this kind of position. You got to embrace it and you got to have fun with it.
You
like,
have to have fun.
Because before we know it, it'll, you know, it could very easily evaporate, and then we're wishing we were here again and not winning games. So you just got to embrace it. Why not? Let's do it.
The window's very much open. So if the window's open,
Jump
you
through
can
it.
always climb through. Adam says, massive win against the Storm, one of the hugest. He says if he's coach, he'd rest Nico for another week. He still thinks that even with a loss, we could be coming first after this weekend. Think that you and I agree with that. If Nico's not ready to go, then it's not worth the risk.
On a Suncorp track that's going to be ran through. I think we're like the 4th game in or something, aren't we?
Yeah,
There's
second on Saturday.
Yeah, 2 on Friday and with the second. So there'll be 3 games before ours.
It'll get worse, but it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's playing on my mind a little bit as well, especially with all the recent, injuries that have been plaguing the NRL. I'm a little nervous about, is it worth him this week to potentially lose, you know, another 4 or 5? So,
Let's not forget the injury thing is happening year on year. It's not a this year thing.
No, and there's multiple facets to why that's happening, but
I know what you're saying.
it's just in the back of my mind. I'm like, do we have to play him? Of course we don't. I mean, but I'm asking.
If he's 100% ready to go, no worries. If he's 97%, okay. But if we're getting down to the 90s,
don't do it.
If there's a 10% kind of, you could redo it because of this reason, whatever reason that is, well then, yeah, don't do it.
Yeah.
I get you want to win this one. You're still out to prove a point, the whole thing. I believe, I haven't watched it yet, but Cam McInnes said something like, and I am paraphrasing because I haven't seen it, something like, if we don't win this week, last week means nothing. I think that's a bit harsh, but that's how they're feeling.
It's good that they're thinking like that.
It's great, but it's not a reason for Nico to play. So,
But they'll think they can win with or without him.
Yeah.
Which is the best part.
Yeah. Look, the fact they've named Trindall in the squad, there's not too many forwards on that extended bench, means something. But they don't know. So
Do you think they would have named him regardless, though? If there's been
Probably
if Nico
not.
played
Probably
last
not.
week, you don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
Interesting.
I haven't thought long and hard about it, but my initial reaction is no. But if they're under the impression that the court case could be a while, then maybe they would. Maybe that's their sole reason. It's like, well, we can't have him in limbo.
Yeah.
And maybe that just means he's able to play cup or whatever. Maybe it's a way for him to play cup. Jack said, how good was that? Many years since I felt so proud to be a Sharks fan. 100% next man up. Statement performance. Atkinson man of the match. Tricky must now be kicking himself that he didn't take an Uber. Live and learn. Throw Dykes in the equation and the Sharks' halves depth looks elite. A lot of praise for the forwards. I haven't heard too many media mentions of Jesse's hands for his try, reaching behind himself to pull in the errant pass and still power over the stripe. Outstanding made for Origin. Strap in for a fantastically long, deep season. Up. That's from Jack. He's pumped up. You think Jesse plays State of Oregon?
Gun to my head, no. If I'm picking the team with my Sharks goggles firmly on my face, I'd pick him.
Like I mean, obviously I follow it because I have to follow it. But is it a thing where, like, I know Tommy T's out and
Latrell won't be picked. Bradman Best is not playing this weekend. He's out with a bunch of Newcastle players.
Did you read about the racism stuff that happened at Cogra? And it involved Souths fans and Dragons fans.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that part. I just thought it was a Dragons fan.
No.
Jeez.
No, they're both involved. And there's numerous, like, reports from, like, I think there's, like, some key eyewitnesses, but then there's other people who were around it and heard it and reported it. And,
From the same area.
yeah, which is awesome. It's awesome people are speaking up. But apparently, like, I read a really good column in one of the papers, and the reporter was there as a fan, and he was with an Indigenous friend. And the Indigenous friend was like, this is not good. And the reporter guy said, well, do you want to speak up? Should we speak up? And he goes, no, that's not going to end well. And then he was like, I want to leave. So they left.
That's ridiculous.
Someone else spoke up. So hopefully there's enough proof to get these people and punish them. But, geez, man.
How hard is it to just, like, not say something racist? Like, you can say anything you want. Call him anything under the sun within reason. But don't, like, why do you have to go there? Like, how, like, uneducated are you to, like, just stoop to that level immediately because you don't like a football player? Like, come on.
It's just, I'm laughing because it's so ridiculous in this day and age. Like, what? And, you know, like, there's South fans. Like, would you be saying that if your team was winning? And I'm not.
Of course not.
I'm talking about the South fans who said it. I'm not talking about South fans in general. I mean, that's just how
fickle some people are.
Yeah. It's disgraceful. Phil says, awesome. How good. Not a bad player on the field. So happy for young Dan. Sometimes you have to put trust in the young guys coming through. Well done, Fitzgibbon, for shuffling the deck. That's from Phil the Fiery, from Willowvale in Queensland. Alan says the whole team showed pride, trust in each other, fantastic defence and backing up. His best were Atkinson, Brayley, Kafusi, Tuku, and he also has praise, I think this could be the first time ever, for Craig Fitzgibbon. That's how good the Sharks are going. Thanks, Alan. Appreciate you. I don't think we can talk highly enough about that coaching performance. And I have to stress, there are 4 coaches that we know of, 3 or 4 behind that scene as well. Just brilliant, man. Like, to have the guts to make those calls, because there was a 5/8 in town, and it's not just about that, but to make the call, to have Jack Williams listed at halfback, and we've seen it from time to time. Like, a couple of times a year you see something's happened, and it's like, whoa. And you're like, oh, okay, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. But
to believe in your system, and they all talk about it, the system, to believe in it so much and then pull it off like that in Melbourne against Melbourne. They've won twice at that stadium. Ever. Twice. Now 3 times. Everything was against them.
To have a guy who was a dummy half, who's now a lock, playing halfback and lock, while your hooker plays hooker and kind of halfback defensively, and have a guy play 4 games, run the entire show.
How smart is it to have a hooker playing defensively 3 in? That's how they should do it. It's unbelievable.
And the great part about that was that he had so much energy at the end of the game because he only made 20 tackles. Yeah. And defensively, again, was outstanding. I know that one try that got let in, but that was just class from Munster. Yeah. But, like, he had that... and he's always energetic. Like he never looks like he's even broken a sweat. But he had to make 20 all game. So he had that extra nip to have a couple extra runs and still have that pace and energy in him. Like, I would never have... I know it sounds kind of silly, but I would never have thought to do it the way he did. And that's why I'm not an NRL coach. That's just... Not many coaches would have done that or had, like you said, the guts to do it.
You can say they've trained that way for situations, and they probably have. But how long have they done it? And how many times have they done it? They wouldn't have spent a week in preseason doing that. They would have had a session, and then for a part of that session, halves off, shuffle, do something.
Yeah.
That's it.
To do it in, what, probably a day? To
less
come
than
up
a
with
day.
that game to less than a day.
So captain's run, well, a bit over. So captain's run, they had it. That would have been, I don't know, midday or whatever, day before. And he felt a little something.
No good.
Crazy. And they would have been up all night doing this stuff. Like,
it's
not just like, this is what we're going to do. Like, that was a plan. I mean, I don't want to put it all on him. Like, he makes the calls. I'm not dimming down what he's done. I just don't want it to be completely about Fitzy when there are other guys in there and girls doing a great job. So as a group, as a collective, and someone asked me during the week, they're like, who's your assistant coaches? And I went, Josh Hannay. Oh, yeah, he's helped out Queensland, right? Yeah, he pretty much coached Queensland.
Yeah.
Before Slater came in. Steve Price, Dragons guy. Yeah, assistant coach 2016. First grade, Super League, but also assistant coach to Premiership 2016. We've got DJ...
That's Daniel Holdsworth.
Sorry, who's been a part of the system for a long time. Fitzy's best mate. Who else am I leaving out? Is that 4?
That's the ones I know off the top of my
4
head.
main people.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch behind the scenes of that as well. Just an incredible effort. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm of the opinion it wasn't just Craig Fitzgibbon that won us that game. It was the tightness of that coaching group. Because they all have a role.
Of course. But I think why it's so brave of him to have gone that way is that he would have had to take the fall if it blew up in our face.
Assistant coach doesn't take a role.
He obviously gets the praise, but you cop the flack if it doesn't work out. If we got pumped by 40, how different is this podcast and the thing, and what were we doing? Yeah, so it's super brave.
But it's brave, but it's also, borderline genius.
It is, yeah.
Like, it's one of the better coaching plans that I've seen in forever. Just because of the way the cards fell. I'm not taking anything away from the players. The calmness of the players. They were so calm. 18 all, they were calm.
Slot a field goal calm. But I think that's what it's even more impressive is that Fitzy had the trust in the players to do that job and that they executed it. Because we could have had this exact game plan that could have won us the game, but if they don't execute and play to their potential, it doesn't matter how good the game plan is, it falls apart.
Yeah.
So a lot of credit to just the whole club, really, in general.
Yeah, it was a great night for the club. But yeah, like their discipline was pretty good. I know we lost the penalty count, but the discipline was pretty good.
Generally, yeah.
Ball control was pretty good. It was a very impressive game. I know you watched the replay a few times. I'm sure all of our listeners have, but it's one that I don't get sick of. So I watch it live, then I do a bunch of it for work. Then I watch it back for personal enjoyment or whatever, or for the pod. And this one, I could go watch it again now.
Yeah, I probably will tonight now.
Our good friend RCB said there's evidence mounting this version of the team has evolved and has a resilience that you need to do things seriously in this league. Something has shifted. Really great to see. Desire and application. Kudos to the coach as well. It's all very positive up. Well, I think we just spoke about RCB. You've just described what we just said accurately in 1 minute, whereas we spoke about it for like 10 minutes going all over the place. Chad says, Sam, best wishes on a speedy recovery. Thank you very much. Great win by the boys in Melbourne. I couldn't have wished for a better birthday present. I was at Sharks at Cronulla with about 30 good friends watching the game. It was nothing short of amazing. Looking forward to hearing you guys again on the airwaves. Happy birthday, Chad, for last week. That is a good way to spend a birthday. That's a memorable one.
Does it get better than that? My birthday's in January, so I don't get Shark games for my birthday, but you wouldn't want anything more than that, would you?
I'm an October kid.
Oh.
I'm around that long weekend, and there's been a lot of years where I just only wanted one thing. And so we got it.
How close was it in 2016?
2 days later, yeah.
Wow.
Our friend Scott Maxworthy, I believe, gosh, when was his? He's either the first or the second. And I believe I'm correct in saying it was his 50th, I think. Like it was something big.
What is yours this year? Do we know? Is there an omen there? Is it 2 days again?
Oh, gosh.
Can we find that out on the fly?
We can. Thanks to technology. Well, I don't know if it's an omen. It's just, it's going to be around.
It'd be serendipitous.
I don't know how. I don't know what this means. It's on a Friday. Mine. So when's the grand final? Now we're getting a bit crazy.
First Sunday of October, isn't it?
Well, the first Sunday is the 29th of September. So it could be the 6th of October, which is 2 days after my birthday. You know what, Josh? If they win the comp, I don't care what it is. Chad, happy birthday, my friend. Was it Chad? Yes.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Chad.
Paul said, is it possible for Cronulla to get Fanua Blake this year, seeing as the Wires are struggling? I'm thinking we can use Dale Finucane's money from the cap and pay Fanua Blake. What are your thoughts? I think that would be lovely. I don't think it's going to happen for lots of different reasons. I don't think the Wires would let it happen for starters. I don't know what's going on with Dale and the cap yet. It's not going to happen. I was going to say it's highly unlikely, but it's not going to happen. It would be fantastic, but I'll probably shut that one down now.
I don't think he would do it either. I don't think he wouldn't be the kind of guy to just dog his team.
Well, what if you got to win a comp?
Just do it again next year.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, but we appreciate you bringing it up, Paul. Dave said, long-time listener, first-time emailer. All right. He said, in line with your random shark segment. So, for those who don't know, most Monday mornings, Kieran Fraser and I do a show, and I quiz him. Part of the show is I quiz him about a random shark. But Dave's got one in the latest McDonald's ad. Have you seen this, Josh? You're a bit partial to some fast food from now, every now and then. You're the only person that's partial to it. Yeah. There's a guy eating nuggets, and he looks suspiciously like Shark 487. And he says, love the pod. Now, I knew who he meant straight away because I've seen it.
I haven't seen the ad.
There's people in a truck. There's a big dude in the front, and he's chowing down on nuggets. And he played in the 2016 season. I think. Somewhere around then. Junior.
Paolo.
He never played for the Sharks. Junior Rathika.
Oh, I have, yes. No, the 100%.
That's him?
Yeah, that is him.
2016?
He was around that time. Yeah, he was. He's in the pictures. Yeah, he was there.
I looked him up. He played about 6 games for us.
Yeah, he played a couple, yeah.
All right. So, thank you for writing in, Dave. Appreciate it. Don't be shy about that. Steve says, what a performance by all 17 guys. Dan Atkinson, you've earned my respect. How's Tricky going to make his way back? He'll have to earn it through the Jets. Tuku needs to be in the 17. Bring on next week. What do you think about Big Tuku? I like him in the 17. I know it's hard to do it when everyone's fit, but boy, oh boy, he brings something that no one else has got.
I love it when he comes on. I just feel like you get through that nitty-gritty stuff the first 20, 25 minutes, and you just bring this power guy on to come, you rip and tear for 10 minutes, mate. That's what you've got. Destroy him.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah. When I was watching the game with my roommate on Saturday, and he was like, who is that guy? I was like, dude, he's like 6'4", he's like 115 kilos, he's an animal. And I'm like, he's a baby. He's 22. Yeah. He's like, that dude is massive.
He's so fit as well. Like he's just...
He could do more than what he's doing, hey?
Yeah, they monitor this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he could go 5 more minutes.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
That's where we should be coaching. Yeah, he got 5 more minutes.
He's redlining.
Daniel says, I've got a musical mission for you. You'll like this one, Josh. It's been bugging me for a while. Whenever an NRL player has a musical playlist, it's all R&B, rap, or country. I'm a massive metalhead and refuse to believe There isn't a shark that musically embraces the aggression of the game through an undying love of metal. In short, please find me a metal-loving shark and make them known. That's from Daniel. And I was thinking about this, and I think he's right. Now, I don't know who it is, but there's got to be someone that doesn't mind a bit of, I was going to say guitar rock, but metal.
Yeah. I want it too. I always think that. I'm like,
There's
where's
always
my
one person
bit
in the
out
group.
there, yeah.
I don't know who it would be.
The only
I've
one...
interviewed most of the guys.
None of them have said it, have they? I always keep an eye out for that. I'm like, who's the metal guy? Who's the one that's...
But a lot of them do go, I like all sorts of stuff. But none
People
of them
never-
go, I love Iron Maiden or whatever. Or...
When people say that, they always say, I love everything except metal. I don't like that screamo stuff.
Yeah, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to ask around.
The only NRL player I know for 100% that does, or a former NRL player, was Ashton Sims. He loved his metal.
Yeah, it's true.
Loved Metallica.
That's
and
true.
He was a cool guy. Looked like it too.
He was a cool guy. I'm going to find a shark for Daniel. So
And for me, please.
stay tuned. I feel like it might be...
Yeah, who would you think you just gun to your head if you could...
It'd
you
be
had to
someone either really old, there's no one really old in the team, or one of the young guys we've barely seen. I don't think it's going to be... I don't even know who to say, but...
pick? I could picture Tom
I don't
Hazelton.
think it's the Jesse Ramian.
No. I could picture Tom Hazelton in a mosh pit.
I think the problem with Tommy would be he's from Goulburn.
Yeah, country.
Yes, and also I reckon he'd be like into, Aussie classics like Chisel
The
and
Living
Midnight
End.
Oil and well, I just feel like he's an old soul.
He is. We could get him there, I reckon.
I just feel like someone must love metal in that group. Maybe they're not telling anyone. Maybe that's they're like an outsider. It's like, oh, I don't want to tell you I love. Great question though. How old do you get with metal? Like, how far back do you go? Like your education. Like, I know how old you are. I know what you're into, but like,
I can get around like the Motley Crue is that's still got that energy for me, which is why I love the.
I don't know if Daniel's going to call them metal.
They're like thrashy kind of rock.
What? You just said two things: thrashy, rock.
You can combine any.
Thrash is a genre.
Yeah,
They're not thrash. They're hair metal.
The hair, yeah.
Some metal's in there. Okay. Well, we need Daniel to define what he calls metal. Anyway, back to you. So forget about Motley Crue. Who else?
I get around Metallica. Like, they're okay. Like,
have you heard the early stuff?
Probably not.
Because you'd love that. Or have you just heard the big hits?
I've heard the big hits, but I try and always give everyone a chance.
Have you heard Master of Puppets?
Yeah, that's good. But it's just like I'm so.
I know it's a little bit dated.
Yeah, that's my problem.
But it's fast and heavy.
It is, yeah. Like that's where I respect where it came from, right? But like, it's just I'm so desensitized now to like the most insane,
I know.
heaviest stuff. It's hard to go back.
I know it's come a long way.
But I respect the roots of rock, and I mean I still love like Muse and Green Day, and that's what I grew up with. My Chemical Romance, The Living End.
Not metal.
I know, but that's where it started for me. That was the gateway.
How good's My Chemical Romance? Seriously.
So good.
That second album,
The Black
big
Parade.
one. No, second album.
Oh,
it's so good I can't remember what it's called.
I know. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna get
the
it
one
right
with
now.
is it Bullet?
3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge.
Oh my god, that is such a good album. I know some people listening going, it's like teeny bopper emo. Or whatever. It's like no, listen to that properly. And so their first album is like this independent kind of raw.
It's like garagey.
It's My Chemical Romance, but it's very lo-fi almost.
Yeah,
and I love that.
I brought you my bullets. You brought me your love.
There's some this is the best day ever. Couple of songs that are just unbelievable on that record, but then they got signed and they released the big one. I'm Not Okay was the hit, but the whole album is so good. Like Black Parade's fine. It's got good moments. But that second album, dude, I will defend that against anyone.
Really?
Oh.
I think the Black Parade is unskippable. The entire album, from like back to front.
That's fair. I don't feel as strongly, but I do like it. But for me, it was the second album. I was like, there's nothing on there I want to skip.
I was like that, and Green Day and Muse really transformed me as a person.
For our friend Cleve, we do need to mention Dashboard Confessional.
Never got into him.
Have you tried?
I don't think I have.
You'd love him.
I think I would. I'm just
it's more acoustic stuff, but you're an emotional thing. Anyway, we're getting hate mail now. So. Sean says, interesting stat. Can you believe Oregon Kaufusi has played the same amount of career first grade games as Lindsay Collins from the Roosters, both playing 100 games this week?
Yeah, but people forget he played a lot of games off the bench for Parramatta. Like a lot of games. He played in the grand
Because
final.
Lindsay's like one of the best. Origin.
He also missed a year with that ACL, or a lot of the year.
Really?
Lindsay Collins, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think Oregon probably caught him up a little bit there, but
That's from Sean. Now, here's one for you specifically. Michael says, online you were mentioning your favourite Sharks tries. You said the Siffer try is one of your favourites. You declared this publicly.
I did.
He would like to know what else is on that list, and he's given you some examples. Jimmy Maloney intercept try against the Cowboys. He goes back to a 96 semi by Richie Barnett. What else is on your list? Because you have made this big statement.
Should we exclude
No, you don't have to do anything.
Fafita's try of the grand
No,
final?
you can do whatever you want.
Well, that's got to be number one. I
Okay.
think just by what it meant to all of us.
Sure.
I think that's got to be number one.
Sure.
And now I am like a younger fan. But
You are.
I think the Valentine, you'll love this, the Valentine Holmes intercept try against the Cowboys when he turned Michael Morgan inside out. I think, Lachlan Coote. I try to think what I was doing and how I reacted to tries. Did it make me become an animal?
I was next to Scott Maxworthy and jumping on him at that point.
I can imagine you would.
It was I'll never forget that.
like
The in and away at the end was just ridiculous.
insane. That's when you knew this guy's really special.
Woo!
Look, I'll go back to the Siffer try. My roommate has never seen me like that before. And I
Dude, what's
kind of
wrong with
caught myself going like, "What am I doing?" And then I just let out another scream, and he was like, "Dude, you okay?" I was like,
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I was not well that night. I was watching it. I was chill. I was resting my voice. But yeah, I let one out then.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
"What about you? Do you have any ones that stand out for you?" I'm just trying to think.
The Maloney try for me is really up there for the significance.
Yes, that's when you knew we're going to the grand final.
And also, you watch the replay, he almost drops it.
The intercept.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say that, but it's a very hard pickup.
Juggled.
Yeah, I shouldn't say he almost dropped it. It's a very hard pickup. The Val one is great against the Cowboys. I'm sure he's got some other ones that I loved, but there's some tries from my youth that I remember, like some Ettinghausen tries. Yeah. I'd have to make a list. It's not about me. The question was for you, but this one, look, I don't think it's in my top 5 personally, but it's really good.
Oh yeah,
It might be try of the year for us, but it was special.
Yeah, it was.
No doubt.
What it did to me, I guess I'm just speaking in terms of did it make me clap? Did it make me jump out of my seat?
Gotcha,
Did it make me emotional? The Fafita try makes me emotional when I watch it.
Yeah.
I wish I had read this beforehand and actually come up with a list because there's so many good ones. But
We can do that. There's always time.
yeah, I'll come back to that and get you a proper list because
Yeah.
I'd be able to make one.
We could probably do an episode on that in the bye week or end of season or even just during the year. Luke says, I've been to many away games in my time. Luke's from Melbourne. Luke's our friend from Melbourne. He said none of them have been as hostile to Sharks fans as Storm games. There was some grubby things going on all night, so it was sweet to put the W over them. I got to say, Luke did offer to come on the show. I haven't had time to make it all happen, but apparently there was some shenanigans going on during the night. I'm led to believe it's a pretty rough crowd down there. I have no doubt they would have been dishing it out, but it was very funny to see. I saw a lot of videos from that bay that everyone was sitting in on the social medias, and the Sharks fans were not relenting. So very good. No. And I'm so happy for those guys down there and the girls down there. Some of them haven't seen them win in 10 years or whatever it's been. And I said it on the post-game show. There's a group of them. I don't know how many's in the group, but they're as passionate as you and I. They live down there. They maybe see them once a year. Maybe. I mean, you saw the drivel that we gave them last year. And that's their one time. So this year, to see that kind of makes up for a lot of stuff. Really happy for those people down there who support us greatly. So much great mail here, Josh. Amazing win. Ryan says amazing win. Huge props to every single one of the forwards this year. They've stepped up. They've gone beast mode. Did Fitzy install mirrors in the locker room so they could finally realise how big they are and start monstering the opposition? That's awesome. Atkinson has announced himself. It's his jersey to lose. Can't wait for the next pod. Hope you're on the mend. Thank you, Ryan. Legend. Appreciate you. Maybe we're not talking enough about the forwards this year, Josh. I sort of tend to be critical of them in the past few years when they haven't been going forward. But this year, to a man.
I think this is the best forward pack we've had since 2016. I mean, I know it's the same squad that we've had for the last 2 to 3 years, but there's just something different about them this year.
Yeah.
They look fitter than they've ever been.
The whole team looks fit. I need to get to the bottom of this. I need something different going on. I don't know if it's staff, if it's technique.
Or is it just the maturity in their bodies of
maybe
they were all quite young when they started here? And
maybe. That whole thing about Fitzgibbons, I mean, he didn't create the idea, but his whole thing about them being together for so long, signing them for long term, it's really paying dividends. And as we've said, it could go pear-shaped. We get it. We understand that. But right now, looking at it, we've lost one game. We're coming first. It's the same team we've had for 3 years. They've been playing together for longer in the lower grades. We all know that. It's actually working. And so all this criticism about, they've re-signed this guy.
We're stuck with them now.
Yeah, we haven't bought anyone. What are you doing? I think they know what they're doing. And then they got Fanua Blake coming. The plan is actually going to work. So it's just another example. Like you need to, like I completely understand the short game. Like week in, week out, we want to win. You know, it's my everything, and we need to win. I need this. I get all that. I've been there. But as a fan, you got to look at the long game. Maybe, as we said, it wasn't our time in the last 2 years. Maybe this year it's our time. Maybe we had to go through all that to get to here. Maybe Fitzgibbon's thinking, no, next year's the year. I don't know. But it's interesting. We just move on so quick. The fact that so many people are saying, why have you re-signed all these guys? But now it's like Ramian for Origin.
Jack Williams has to be re-signed. You
Yeah.
know, Toby has to be re-signed. It's like 12 months ago, not even, we were saying, have we got this right?
I agree.
I was saying that.
We're both in the conversation. I think that as a whole, you and I were not bagging the club for re-signing these guys. But if I can get Toby now for good money, I'm going to get him. Whereas a year ago, I'd be like, he's probably replaceable. So, yeah, it's just good to see a plan come through. Andrew says, when we're young, we make mistakes. The lucky ones amongst us live to regret them. I wonder how long Trindall will regret his decision. After tonight, there's no way you can drop Atkinson up Cronulla. So Andrew solved the question for us. And I respect that. I don't know if I completely agree with it, but I respect it. And I know what you're saying. I mean, there was an article, I think, from Phil Rothfield. I feel like he might want to take back the first paragraph. It said something like, you have to feel for Trindall because da-da-da-da, and he might have lost his jersey. And everyone went, well, I'm not going to feel for him. Like, he did the wrong thing, committed a crime, da-da-da. The point was, he's watching that game and he's like, I have no doubt he's completely happy for the club, happy for his teammate. But he knows that the more this guy plays, the more questions going to be asked. So it's topical, man. Andrew's got Dan playing. Reese says, one of our best wins ever. Our defense was amazing, and to do it without King Nico. Yeah, I agree. I think it was one of our best wins ever. We say that a lot, but I think this one we can all agree on.
We said last week that we were in a bit of a lose-lose situation with this game.
Did we?
Well, I did.
Remind me.
Saying that if we win, everyone's going to say, yada, yada. And if we lose, well, you should have beaten them anyway. I think the fact that we lost Nico and now won, that's all irrelevant. Now it's like, no, that was a great win that we probably shouldn't have won.
To normal, sane people.
Yes.
To unnormal, insane people, no.
When it's all going to come crashing down. They still haven't beaten anyone yet. Lucky draw. Well,
you still got to go to Magic Round and beat the Roosters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll see how you do against the Roosters.
People are funny. Ryan says that's one of our best wins in years. I'm a big Trindall guy, but Atkinson's been outstanding. I'm not sure he gets the spot back so easily. We played with 1.5, and it was Atkinson. He couldn't have done any more. Like most Sharks fans, was having a meltdown pre-kickoff, but every single player was amazing. What a performance. That's very brave to say that, Ryan. And, I mean, there's another one for Atco. They're adding up.
The people are starting to make their opinions known.
I wish that we could say we've seen more of him play at top level in that position to make it easier for you and I. Not even a one-off. We've seen him play 2 or 3 really good games, and this was his best. I have no doubt that he can play this way. I've seen it. But I wish I'd seen him play it over a few years. And then you'd go, but Trindall's actually been pretty good most games he's played.
Yeah.
That's my one sticking point.
No, sure. I'm just thinking now, I hope people aren't expecting that every week.
They are.
I think that's unfair.
Of course it is.
And I hope that people aren't just turn on him on a dime if he has a stinker, or if he doesn't play as well, or if we lose next week. Still a baby.
I saw him as like a 7 out of 10 kind of half. That's where I kind of almost had him peaking. Then he played 10 out of 10. I think that he probably drops back a little bit.
Of course.
But I don't know if... I mean, I can't say he hasn't got a stinker in him, but he seems to have this ability to do things that come naturally, and that's pretty good for a half. I guess we're just going to ride it out, see which way the coach goes, and just... He's played almost... Is it 6 or 7 games in total? But 2 of those were for like 19 minutes or 1 minute or whatever it was.
So the Sharks game was on for about 35 seconds.
Yeah.
Against Melbourne last year, coincidentally. It's crazy how sometimes what first grade and pressure does to people and how it makes or breaks them. Because I will be completely honest, I didn't see Dan Atkinson as a first grader. I didn't, and I'd be the first to admit it. But now then you see him like he gets thrusted in and he handles it like a champion, whereas there's guys who get talked up, they're the next Andrew Johns, they're this and that, and they never really hit those heights or they even get to make a full career. Yeah. It's funny how what sport and what that elite level does to people, it can really change you, because I don't ever really seen that in him in reserve grade or in trials, what he can do, or what he has done, I should say.
I reckon I've seen it in small doses, and then in the derby, I was super impressed. It wasn't lights out super impressive, but it was impressive. Therefore, him playing against the Storm didn't worry me. It was losing the other bloke.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
The safety net.
It wasn't whether Atkinson could do a role, because I think that we knew he could. We didn't know he could do the role and then do it like that.
Both roles.
Yeah, both roles. But the thing I come back to is that field goal. And it takes a whole team to do that. You know, Blake was instrumental in it as well. But you watch him and it's just...
He's like a conductor, just
it's
pulling
effortless,
the strings,
man.
Yeah.
And I keep saying it. We all go up and we're all yahooing. He turns around and runs back. He doesn't even smile.
No one high-fives him.
I think they knew.
Yeah. Well, put it this way. At the start of the year, did you see yourself giving Dan Atkinson down points? Like, 3-2-1s? No. I in my wildest dreams, I couldn't have said I'm giving him 3s and 2s multiple weeks in a row with Nico Hines, Will Kennedy, Jesse Ramian playing, Cam McInnes.
But so say you think about the entire squad for this year, and say you think of it in the first round, before the week of the first game. If I give you like 24 names or whatever it is, and I say to you, who out of this list is going to play 10 out of 10 in one game? Like 10 out of 10.
Amazing, perfect.
Like it doesn't happen very often, right? Like it happens, it could happen throughout the year, but it's hard to do. You would say Nico Hines. You would say, I mean, he's not as involved, but maybe like a Britton Nicola.
Cam McInnes.
Possibly. This is the start of the year. There's not many. Like if you really thought about it, you go, oh, he's like an 8.5. He's a 9.
Maybe Ronaldo gives you 1.
Maybe, but maybe lets in a try.
Yeah.
So it's not a 10.
True.
I'm going to say aside from Nico, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I reckon Nico give me a 10.
Yeah. He has before.
But you wouldn't say Dan Atkinson.
No way.
Yeah, but he already has.
And I guess that's my point. Like, I would have never have thought, I'm like, this guy was the best player on the field. With all those things you've just said, with all the players that are around him.
But not just the best.
A perfect
He
best.
was perfect. Like, he didn't do anything wrong, right?
We're living in a different timeline.
A good friend of the show, Fraser, says, Dan Atkinson, how good. The huddle at the end. We haven't spoken about this, Josh. The huddle at the end. Most enjoyable Sharkies win for me since 2016. I shouted down the house when Talakai ran in for that try. Let's talk about the huddle. The huddle was beautiful. It was minutes after the bell, probably like 2 or 3. I think a couple of guys are still being interviewed. And then we saw Ronaldo take the lead.
Yes.
And that was noted by a lot of people. They waited for the captain to come back from his interview. Ronaldo took the lead, man, and he was, whatever he was saying, they were listening. And you can imagine what they were saying. You know, this is where it starts. We deserve this. Yep. This is how you do it. All those things. Good to see them take it in their stride. It's one of those things I've always thought, and I spoke about it in 2016 after the Cowboys game. It was like, don't you dare celebrate too hard now. You got a grand final. And I like that about this mob. Like I like it about Dan Atkinson. Straight back and play. Post game, Ronaldo grabs them. Let's go have a beer on the next week. I think it's awesome. It's a maturity we haven't seen for a while, and it's important. I think those moments are important.
No, they absolutely are, and I'm always looking out for things like that, like in the huddle, who's speaking, who's paying attention, who's focusing on themselves. Like in that huddle after the try, even Sifa Talakai was in there having words and, like laying down the law, and those sort of things are priceless in a football team.
Ben says, we're seriously so close as a unit. How good was it when they all surrounded Atkinson in the change rooms? I don't care. I'm saying it. We can win this comp. Up, up. That's from Ben. I got no problem with Ben saying that.
I'm with him. I've said it before.
If you didn't see the footage, I don't know how you would know, but if you didn't, everyone back in the sheds, in the circle, they were planning it. You could see it. If you watch it, you can see them planning something, and Atkinson comes in, and they wait like 10 seconds or something, and then to a man, all 20 of them just jump up and on him, and it's really beautiful. And they're good like that, the Sharks. They're such a tight unit. They celebrate, milestones and all that kind of thing. And it was an amazing team effort, but they knew what this guy had done. And it was really good to see. Like, it was just beautiful.
There's genuine friendship there.
Yeah. It's going to take him a long way, man. It'll take him a long way.
Not everyone is friends in any work environment. You don't get along with everyone, and that's fine. But when you do, the results you can get out of that are born out of friendship and camaraderie, it's very rare. And we had it in 2016.
Brad says, what a win. I was lucky to be there to witness every second of it. I recently moved from Sydney to country Victoria. I'm still loving the haters' comments on social media. Apparently now we have to beat a full-strength Penrith side to even be a contender. Well, Cleary's not going to be there. I'd rather people always count us as the underdog anyway. I guess all the hate we're copying online is a good sign of us doing something right. Everyone hates winners. I agree with all that. One thing I'd say, Brad, I'm not saying you are, but I would just say don't take it too seriously. If people online saying stuff, I'm not a huge fan of that stuff. And not to say there's not good things on there, but there's a lot of negativity and just a lot of stupid people, to be honest. And if someone feels better by saying that your club isn't doing as well because they didn't beat a full-strength team, then I find that just very silly and a waste of my time, to be honest. And not to say I'm not interested in hearing other people's opinions, but there's a way to go about that and to say it intelligently and with respect. And then you have an argument about it and you debate, and that's what it's about. But I think if someone's disliking this team of ours right now, then they really have serious anger problems. Like, what could you pinpoint on this team and go, I don't like them because of that? The closest thing you can come to, is perhaps how you may perceive Ronaldo Mulitalo. But that's a stretch, and that's kind of like a year ago Mulitalo.
And every team's got one of those anyway. So
they wish they
those
did.
in glass houses.
But that's the closest.
Yeah. Do you don't like watching energetic, emphatic rugby league?
They're playing a really good style, man. I think for me, the most enjoyable thing, and I reckon it started with Bomber Morris playing a more attack style footy. Sean Johnson helped that. But with Fitzgibbon coming in and Nico, it's kind of really extended upon that. And that's what I'm loving these days, is just watching them play the way they're playing. Like, it took a while to get there, but like this year, the footy's been awesome.
It's because no one else plays like us. I think that's the most exciting. And you get that, when you're doing something right, when even opposition fans who are my mates say, man, the Sharks are good to watch. Or like people who genuinely despise us, like my mates, and like ribbon me. Like, man, when the Sharks are on, there's no one better to watch. Like, then it's as big a compliment as you can get.
All right, last one, Josh, from Jeffrey. And Jeffrey's got an account called Another Jersey. So if you want to jump on Insta, Another Jersey. He said, that's a special win. Many have said we were handed that by the refs, but I strongly disagree. The sin bin was harsh, but the refs seem to be trying to make up for it for the rest of the game. What has me really excited was the footage of them all huddled in a circle on the field at full time. Close group of mates, also happen to be pretty damn good football players. So chuffed with that performance and where we're at as a club, both on and off the field, up from Jeffrey. And again, his Insta account is Another Jersey. Yeah, wise words, man, and I agree with all that. So we didn't mention the huddle, but thankfully our listeners all at the end did, which is awesome. And we should, because it was a really special part of that night. I don't know why we brushed over that, but I'm glad our listeners didn't. Boy, oh boy, Josh, it's been a fun time hanging out with you, talking all things Sharks v Melbourne in particular. A strong theme on that. I do want to give a shout out to Jason Hawes, a great friend of ours at Crips and Crips. He's been in the biz for over 20 years. He is a specialist in the local Cronulla and Sutherland areas. He's grown up in this area. He's a personal friend of ours. We trust him. We love him. If you have any real estate questions, anything to do with real estate, give him a call, 0410 417 450. That's Jason Hawes. Big Sharks fan. He'll often find me down at the local cafe and he want to know everything. And he knows a lot too. He's got his ear to the ground. He told me, I know you've heard this rumour, he told me that he was told we're a strong chance of Vegas next year.
Oy.
And he said, have you heard anything? And I went, yeah, man, I've heard some things. I've heard some things. We're not locked in, Josh. Don't book your ticket yet, but make sure your passport is updated, just in case.
It's just put some money away. Just a couple of bucks a week, just in case.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, the truth is, there's been a lot of rumours from a lot of different places, and we won't get into trouble saying this because it's all unofficial, but there is a lot of groundswell for us to go to Vegas sooner rather than later, and I'd say we're on the short list, put it that way. So I'd say we're a strong chance. Might not happen for 2 years, but at the moment, I'm surprised at the amount of positive talk coming out from circles, not within the club, but away from the club, telling me that it could be happening. So
There's
we'll
been
see.
stuff online as well.
Yeah.
That's just generally out there.
Yes. Yes.
It's a pretty big chance, I think.
I think some teams have fallen over, to be fair. At the same time, our stocks have risen in a lot of different ways.
It's helped that we've been playing well and we're a big attraction at the moment. They want the best teams over there. We're the best team at the moment.
We got some American friends as well of late who are Australians, and they've got connections in Vegas. So a lot of things are pointing that way. But again, I'm not making more out of it than what it is. It's just, I'd say we're on the short list. That's exciting. I'll take that.
Tell you what, if we end up there, there's a very, very high chance I would go.
I would hope so.
I would say almost definitely if we are playing Vegas next year, I will be there. That's once in a lifetime sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would say the same thing, Joshy. Whether some people can do that or not, money, lifestyle, but as you say, it's not something that happens every day. And I hope that, how do I say this? I hope that everyone who would want to go could go. But watch this space. I think there'll be something announced in the next few months.
Yep. If they want to allow people to start putting things away and putting plans in place to get there. But that's what I said. Just start putting stuff away.
Jason Hawes did say to me, there's a sale on right now. And I said, we don't even have the dates yet.
Yeah.
And he said, you can find out the dates. And I went, don't know if I can.
You're good, but you're not that good.
I'm not that good, but I probably could find out, but I didn't.
Okay.
Because I want to wait till things... I don't want to jinx it.
You'll be in Volandi's office on Monday morning.
I've never met Peter Volandis. Never met him.
We'll do some shake and baking when we're over there. Try and get some sponsorships or something.
Absolutely. It'd be fun. It'd be more than fun. Just hanging out in Vegas with a bunch of Sharks fans. It'd be awesome fun.
Yeah, and 3 other teams. I'm not sure who they would be as well, but
that'd be less fun. But yeah.
Yeah, but I love the mixing of like that's why I really want to go to Magic Round. Like shocked that I haven't been yet. The rugby league mania. Then everyone who went there earlier this year said it was just off the chain.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it is.
But Sharks first, obviously.
I would need to do Magic Round before I tell you how I feel about it.
Sure.
It'd be prejudice for me to go, I don't think I'd like it. Because my gut would say, I don't know if I could do the whole 3 days. It's a bit much for me. I'm very, what's the word? It doesn't take a lot to ruffle my feathers.
Sure.
But I do like having a good time, as you know. And I would need to experience it before I say anything about it. Vegas is slightly different, I think. Opportunity to go to other places.
Well, I wonder if winning the grand final puts a spanner in the works for whoever that may be. Going over, because I know
How so?
In terms of the Challenge Cup, would that mean?
I think they should play it there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know if that's off the table. I think it's something they're considering because What happened this year? Penrith went to
Penrith didn't go,
Yeah.
and they were obviously premiers, so they did that whole thing. But I wonder if that changes things because it also alters
a lot of English residents came over to Vegas for it. It would make a lot of sense to have it there.
Could you imagine that as the,
Be awesome.
the headliner was whoever the grand finalist is,
Absolutely.
St. Helens and Sharks, and then it's who else goes over.
You could do. I think it'd be harder from a logistic point of view, but you could try and do 2 nights of it maybe,
If you did a Super League game,
as opposed
an
to
NRL,
a triple header.
an NRLW game.
Yeah.
That's like all those sort of things are on the card. That's why it's I think that's why it's such a great idea. The opportunities are endless with what they could do with it.
I guess the thing is they probably want to like build towards something. So if they go, let's have 2 NRL games, let's have the Champions game, let's have an NRLW game. It's 4 games. It's twice as many as last time. You could try it. Like, I don't know, but
Could you imagine if they did a Magic round there? Let's
Like
say
proper?
like 5 years time, and they do round 1, or they do the Millie or whenever they want to do it, and you have like 2 weeks break after to give everyone a chance because then everyone's in the same boat. There's no
I
disadvantage.
mean, you would hopefully have full stadiums.
3 days of full stadiums in their off season for NFL,
Yeah.
and you get 100,000 people coming instead of 20,000, whatever it is. Like that would be gangbusters.
I was talking about it with a few people during the week. The only negative thing I can attach to it from a club point of view or a team point of view is the effect it has on you the next month or so.
Sure.
Like, because it is different. You go to another state. You go to another country. You're flying there. Okay, you're flying business, first class, whatever. But the wear and tear on your body, the promotional stuff, as opposed to being in your hometown getting ready for round 1. Like, it's pretty different.
But it's where you want to be, right? You want to be in the head, like the
No,
bright
it is.
lights.
I'm not saying don't do it.
Yeah. I see your point, though.
I want to see... Because, I'm not saying that's why Manly are up and down. Because what do we have? Souths are gone. Manly,
Roosters.
Brisbane are affected by injuries. Roosters going pretty good. I just wonder. I wonder if there's any correlation between, like, form or health
Sure.
and that. That'd be my only negative thing.
I guess we won't know until we see it 2 years down the track when 8 other teams have gone. And was it coincidence or...
Of course.
Yeah, like, was it because of the teams that went in the time
And it's all about how you manage it. I'm sure the more teams go, the better they'll get it, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
If we were lucky enough to go, we'd talk to the Roosters. Hey, how'd you do it? Where'd you stay? Da-da-da.
What worked, what didn't. Because I think South did a bit of a mini holiday. They went like a couple of days before to San Fran or whatever. And I think
Which sounds good.
Yeah.
I think for me it's more just the travel. It's not so much, as from a team point of view, it's not playing in America.
Yeah.
It's getting to America.
And coming back.
And getting back. What if you do a hammy over there and you've got to fly back in the air and all that sort of stuff? I don't know.
I guess it'll just be like, that's why if you did round 1, you open the season with every team over there, and then after that you have 2 weeks off. Everyone, that's like not the actual start of the season. It's like, okay, this is round 1.
Be pretty crazy.
It would be mental. I think the NRL would love it. I think America would love it. The betting agencies, like that's what they're there for, right?
I don't think America would understand. They'd be like, what, every team's here? What?
Yeah. Like, but that would just, if you, let's say the 5-year deal, when we get everyone over
Imagine
there.
the NFL bringing 32 teams over here.
Imagine.
1 week, 2 weeks.
The money, though, like that's what it's all about,
Yeah,
right? Like the financials and the benefits of having every team over there, and like you make it a 2-week build up or something, and you really just pump it. After this 5 years, when we get everyone gets a chance to go, and if it works, and you say, let's just do it. Like,
Well, I know that our head honchos, it's well known, it's documented, met with the fellas in New York who have businesses in Vegas and everywhere, and they're extremely rich men. And if they're listening, please get in touch, SharkCastPod@gmail.com. We'll happily promote whatever the hell
they
you
want.
do. Because they're really rich. But they're genuine fans. They hung out with our head honchos, had a great time. Since then, I think 1 or 2 of them have been back here, which it wasn't well documented at all. I think it was quite private, but they were showing the red carpet out here. They hung out with the boys and a whole lot of stuff happened. So they have a deep connection with this club. I think if they had their favorite club in Las Vegas, staying in their hotels, whatever it is they do, that would lead to a lot more having them there in the flesh.
yeah.
So we'll see. We're just, you and I just spitballing. We've been seeing each other for a while. We're just having a chat. Have to say, Vegas is not confirmed, not close to it. We know we're in the running. So, and I think eventually we'll get there anyway. So, and whether you think that's awesome or you think it sucks, that's none of my business. We're just having a chat. I can't believe we've gotten through this, Josh. It's been amazing to chat so long with you about the Sharks. Again, it's what we like to do. Thank you so much to everyone for listening. Thanks for your patience for the last few weeks. And enjoy the ride. Another one this week. We haven't talked about the Roosters game. We're going to try and do that later in the week. We'll see what we can bust out for you. Give me a quick tip.
I have no reason not to back us to win. I think it'll be very hard. I think this is the most nervous I've been about all year. I think we would. I was feeling that we'd win every game this year until now. I'm a little bit worried, but I have no reason not to think we can do it. Like, why not? So I think we'll win. I'm going to put that out there in the universe. I think we're going to win. And we're going to win 8 points. And Nico's going to play and star.
Okay. Big challenge. Roosters are in great form. They're scoring a lot of points. They're missing Joe Manu, which is fantastic. It's a challenge. We'll talk about the spine. It's Tedesco, it's Keary, it's Walker, it's Smith with Radley locking the scrum. So they're a serious team. We have to be at our best to beat them. But as you say, there's no reason why we can't do that. We will try and talk to you about that later in the week. If we don't, we'll get back to you soon, but hopefully we do. SharkCastPod@gmail.com. We're on the socials, and we say it a lot, but we mean it every single time. Thanks so much for everything. For those of you going to Magic Round, have a great time. You and I are not going there, Josh, but have a great time, and we will talk to you soon. This has been SharkCast Pod. Appreciate everything. Croak our way out of here. Up, Cronulla. We're going to play the song because we are awesome.
Sharks forever. Go out and play without fear. Now's the time to see good football, for the Sharks are here. Sharks forever. Go out and play without fear. Now's the time to see good football, for the Sharks are here. Up the Sharks!